Today we're going to talk about emergency lighting. So probably one of the most important things is having a spot in the house where everyone knows this is where you go to get a flashlight. So what we've decided to do is we've got this little cabinet next to the fridge. Everybody knows that if you come in here, open it up, you will have all sorts of light sources that you can use. So this is where we hang. We just did these, 3M little hangers. So we've got lots of flashlights that hang in here, lanterns. Everybody knows this is the spot. Another thing we've done is we added down here near the floor, just this little power strip where we can easily recharge things. So after you use it, you bring it back, you plug it in. Next time someone notices that it's charged, just go ahead and add it back to the battery cabinet. And everybody knows this is where you go. Even our little younger children also know if the power goes out, they just have to make it to here and they know that they can get a flashlight. One other thing that we've done to help out is we have added some emergency lighting up here. So all this is similar to the emergency lights that you see in commercial buildings. That's all this is. You can get these at any hardware store that sells commercial type lighting, residential lighting. Most of them have this type of thing in stock. So all that I did, now normally, as you can see, these are made to mount onto an electrical box on the wall of a building. So what I did is I just drilled a little hole in the side and then I just added a plug. So this thing stays, kind of hard to see, but it's right there, that white plug. It stays plugged in right there. And this just sits up here, nothing fancy. So it's always got to, it has to be plugged in so that it can stay charged. And then when the power goes out, it's going to sense that, it's lost power and it's going to kick on. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate what that looks like. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this and you'll see that it's going to kick on. All right, so it kicked on. It is lighting up this space really well. So if the power was out and I came walking in here, you can see that this makes it very easy to find the flashlight cabinet. Now these emergency lights that you buy are rated for 90 minutes as a minimum. So you know that you've got at least an hour and a half where that thing's gonna be lit up. They sometimes will last longer than that, but they usually start to get a little dimmer. The other reason I put it here is this is also our stairwell. This is also our stairwell. So now this light wouldn't be out if the power was actually out. But you can see that light, because it's shining up on the ceiling, it also lights the stairwell pretty well so that you can, make your way upstairs when the power's out. And we've got a few of these in our house in different spots. I'll show you where some of the others are located. Okay, so here's another location that we have put one of these. It's the same model. This one's by Lithonia Lighting, but they're kind of cool. You can aim the lights to point where you want, but this one just sits on the floor, kind of hidden out of the way, but it lights up this room at least good enough to get to where you need to go. So you can see this one that we just keep on the shelf. And if you want, they make different sizes. This one's one of the smaller ones. You can get bigger ones to light a bigger area, but this one does plenty for us. And again, this one, I didn't actually drill a hole. You can see that I actually just kind of cut out one of their holes for screwing it into an electrical box and just ran a real small plug. So as long as you know enough about electricity to do this safely, to wire up a plug into a device, you can do that yourself. If you need help, if it's over your head, don't hurt yourself, don't burn down your house, get a friend or someone that can help you. This is pretty basic electrical knowledge, but if you're uncomfortable, make sure you ask for help. Now, if those emergency lights, the bug eye type that I used, are too expensive, or you just don't want to worry about having to wire them up, you can also buy this kind of device. This is something you can get at most hardware stores. You can buy these. Basically, they're the same thing, just a lot smaller, won't last as long, but you just leave them plugged in, and then when the power goes out, as you can see, it'll turn on. This one actually has a couple different settings. You have it go to that flashlight, more of this room. One, you've got a low output, a high output. This one's actually quite old. I'm surprised that it's still working. We've probably had this at least 5 years. They don't normally last that long, but they are a lot less expensive. All right, I thought I'd show you this other one that we've got, just a different style, a little bit cheaper, a little smaller. I'll press the test button and it'll turn on. You can see that little guy. Well, it's hard to tell because I've still got things turned on, but that little guy actually does a pretty decent job of lighting down here in my workshop if the power's out. One other thing that you could look into are these light bulbs that you can buy. Basically, they're a standard LED light bulb, but they've got a small battery in there. So you plug them in a lamp. Now, most of these, actually, I don't know if there's any that are dimmable that I've seen yet, but most of these are designed to go into a lamp or some type of fixture that does not dim. This will not work with a dimmer. But basically what it does is some of them come with this little screw-on hanger and a button. So if I press it, you can see it's turning on. It's just running off of its battery. The way that you recharge these is when they're plugged in to their lamp and it's on, it's charging. And then when the power goes out, it will be out unless the switch on your lamp is on. Then it will turn on. It senses that there is no electricity and it switches to the battery. So here's another one. So this is one that we've got plugged in. We actually use this quite a bit when we just need a little bit of extra light to get into our freezer. And then if the power were to go out, go ahead and unplug that. So it's interesting. The way that these work is they have to be plugged into something. So this one works because I've added its little, let's see if I can set this up to show you how this looks. Let's turn on my light above. So you can see that this one has this, I don't know, little connector you can buy to force it on so you can walk around like a flashlight or hang it. If I were to screw this into something, like my desk lamp and then turn it on with the power out, it does work. We've actually used these quite a bit. We use these mostly in closets because I don't have a dimmer in my closets. And when the power goes out, you can turn on your closet light and at least have a little bit of light while you're trying to sort things out. They don't last very long, but it helps for the short term. So another kind of fun way you can test these is if you take your hand and you cover up both pieces of metal, so the metal on the outside and the metal in the center. If you press that into your hand, you actually make a connection. It uses, I think it's like the capacitance of your body, and it's similar to the effect that happens when this is screwed into your home and the power is out. It senses that it is screwed into a longer circuit. Somehow it knows that the power is out, but it's also kind of a fun trick you can play with your kids. Oh, just think really hard. You could turn on the light. So that's another idea. You can get these on Amazon. They're pretty popular. But you do have to turn them on at least once in a while just so that they can charge. If we never use this light for months, it's possible that the battery inside there will actually die. Okay, one last spot where I have one of these. This is a little bit different style. It's not aimable, but it still puts out a pretty good amount of light. Again, it's one of the bug eyes you buy from the hardware store. And I ran just a cord. You can see it's just draped over the top. This one has a switch on it just for testing, and then it's just plugged in down there. So this thing is always on and charging. It Tell by the green light it's charging. And then we'll simulate power outage. So we'll kill the power to it. It should turn on. And this is what you would find when you come into this room. Nice thing about having it here is it's next to my breaker panel. It's next to a very small transfer switch, which I've installed. We'll probably show this on another video. Basically, I just use this to run 1 circuit worth of power. Mostly just lighting is what we use this for. And you can flip on different breakers to run lights in the house while we're waiting for the power to come back on. So that's it. Something to think about. If you don't have any emergency lighting in your house, these are really great. They are a little more expensive. You can sometimes find some cheaper ones. There's different sizes that have different outputs, but all these commercial ones will be rated for a minimum of 90 minutes. That's the code that they have to follow. Some of those cheaper plug-in ones, like I showed in the kitchen, those are a lot less expensive. They're easy because you don't have to wire them up. They just plug in. They don't last as long. Usually the batteries in these last at least 7 years before you have to replace them. Those little plug-in ones like upstairs are probably, I think the longest we've had them last is about 5 years. Usually after 3 or 4 years they start to die. But they're also pretty expensive, so they're easy to replace when that happens. All right, so I thought I would just show you quickly what these type of products cost. So if you go to Amazon and you type in plug-in emergency light, there you go. Plug-in emergency lights for home power failure. Perfect. Sounds like a great search term. All right, you can see these are similar to the one that I have. So this was cool. I didn't realize they sold them this way until I did the search earlier today. But you can buy these bug eyes on Amazon with a cord already attached. So that's nice. If you didn't want to mess with wiring it, this is probably a good way to go. $22 is very reasonable for this. This one puts out 200 lumens, which is fine. This style looks like it can do 300 lumens. A little brighter, $23. That's a pretty good deal. And then these are those little ones that I was showing you that we had in our kitchen. You could also get these that just plug in and then you can actually use them as a flashlight. These really do not last that long. When the power's gone out and we've had these on, I think they only last about, I don't know, maybe a half hour or so is what we've seen. These though should be rated for 90 minutes. I'm not sure about these brands, but I would assume, you know, they might just get dimmer as you go along. So that model that I have upstairs is a Lithonia brand ELM2. They're a commercial brand. You can see they do cost more, $41, and then you gotta wire it up yourself. And you can see it's 220 lumens, so it's not any brighter than the cheaper brands. I'm sure, I would assume the Lithonia commercial one is gonna last longer. The optics are probably a little better, but it's double the price. So you could get 2 of the other one for the price of 1 Lithonia, and then you have to add a cord. So I'll leave that up to you, what you're comfortable with. Get what you think will work best for your home. Oh yeah, these are those lights I was showing you that you can screw in to charge. It does not work with the dimmer, but you can turn them on and off, and you can see again, a 4-pack, $30. It's a pretty good deal. So there you go. That's what they cost on Amazon in 2025. I'm sure there'll be more next year.